Another performance poem by Jedadiah Stone. This one was written by Marion Doerflinger. And it's called The Devil's Got a Hammer, You Can Get a Hammer Too. You got no right to be proud, the devil said to me. Nothing that can die. Nothing that's got to sit down and poop and pee. Nothing that needs food and just had nothing but blood to keep it alive. That ain't nothing like a god. That's something puny and weak. That's something that ain't capable. That's something that ain't got no right to be proud. And I got a right to be proud because I'm the devil and I'm close to being God. And God cheated me because I told him, don't create that thing called mankind. And God said, I will create that thing called mankind, and I will give them free will, and I will love them. If they do right, they will have more power than you. So I told God I wasn't going to stay in heaven. And I got a hammer, and I built hell. And when I hit you with a hammer of hell, you're going to say you ain't got no right to be proud. And I said, devil, you wait here, I'll be back. So I went up on the mountain, and I took off my hat, and I looked at the sky, and I said, God, my Father and Father of Jesus, who died for me and came back for me, the devil says I ain't got no right to be proud because I'm just a man. Now I know that some kind of pride is sinful, and I ain't talking about that kind of pride. I'm talking about the kind of pride where you get down on your knees and you say you're sorry for your sin and you're forgiven. And you live a good life. And you do beautiful things. Does a man have a right to be proud? And God spoke from heaven. A good man's got the right to be proud. You go tell the devil and see what he does. And whatever he does, you say, I still got the right to be proud. And you're just going to have to take it, what he does to you. Because we're going to find something out about what you're made of. And you're going to know how proud you got the right to be. I trust you. You go tell the devil you got the right to be proud and see what he does. And if you live through it, you come see me. And if you don't live through it, I will gather you into my heart. So I went back to the devil and I say, a good man's got the right to be proud. And the devil hit me with a hammer of hell. And I fell hard. And I wanted to die because it hurt. But I got on my feet. And I said, a good man's got the right to be proud. I'll be back. And I went and talked to God and I said, he hit me with a hammer of hell. And it hurt. But I did what you said. And God says, I got a surprise for the devil. You go down into that valley and you'll meet a big man. That big man will be a friend of yours. You've heard of him. You just never met him. He'll have something for you. He'll have something for you and he'll have some advice. You go down into the valley and you find that man. So I went down into that valley. And it was a valley of the shadow of death, where I will fear no evil, because thou art with me. And I could not see God, but God was there. But I could see a big man coming my way. And he was a man born of the slave race in this country. That was John Henry. And John Henry was swinging his hammer, the one he beat the steam drill down with. The one the captain said was going to prove to him that a man was no good. And John Henry had that hammer. And John Henry looked at me and he smiled. And he said, you answer one question for me and I'm going to let you have this hammer for as long as you need it. Who said dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And I said, that was Muhammad Ali. And he handed me this hammer. He said, the devil's got a hammer. You can get a hammer too. You go back and see the devil. You'll know what to do. So I went back and the devil was waiting with a big grin like, one more blow, and I got him. But I walked up and I had that hammer on my shoulder. And the handle of that hammer, the strength of John Henry reverberated through me. And I swung that hammer down and I knocked the devil flat. And the devil looked up and shook his head and he said, I've never been hit before. What is that you got? And I didn't tell him no names. I just quoted a quote. A man ain't nothing but a man. And I swung that hammer down and the devil didn't get up again for a long time. And I said, maybe you ain't got the right to be proud. And he went into a rage and he swung that hammer and it hurt. But by then I was used to the pain. And I knew I had the right to my pride. And the pain felt good. And the pain was food and energy and life and light. And I said, I can do this all day. Captain America said that in the Marvel Universe. I can do this all day. And he said, what's a Marvel Universe? Well, it's in the movies, but it started out in comic books. Who reads comic books that's got any right to be proud? You got to read the Bible and say it ain't true to be proud. That's me. I read the Bible and say it ain't true, and you're reading comic books? And I hit the devil and I said, you better use that hammer or leave it behind, buddy. You ain't landed a blow yet, and all you're doing is talking, and I can do this all day. And he said, you got all that out of a comic book? And you still think you got the right to be proud? And I swung that hammer down, and that time I missed because he was good and mad, and he was moving. And then we were both dancing and stinging. But I was dancing like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. He was just dancing like the devil. Every blow he landed hurt, but I got him 3 times for every one. And the last time I broke his teeth. And he dropped his hammer, and he hung his head. And he looked on the teeth on the ground, and he said, I used to love to gnaw old bones, and I'll never gnaw old bones again. You have broken the devil. You do have the right to be proud. I'm going back to hell without my hammer. And the devil went back to hell without his hammer. And there was John Henry. Give me back my hammer. You don't need it no more. And I gave him back his hammer. Spit on the devil's hammer. And I spit. And it turned to dust. And he said, laugh at the devil's teeth. And I laughed. And they turned to dust. And John Henry said, you go to any pawn shop in America, or Brazil, or Argentina, or Russia. You go to any hardware store. You go to any junkyard. You go to any construction site. You buy any kind of hammer you want. And that hammer will be as tough as John Henry's hammer. And that hammer will beat the next hammer that somebody brings out of hell. If you put it in the hand of a good man who's got the right to be proud, a man is being hit by the hammer of hell, you put the hammer of Jedadiah Stone in the hand of that man, and you say, a good man's got the right to be proud, the devil's got a hammer, you can get a hammer too.